As a man thinketh. Thought and character. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. Act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits. Thus does a man garner in the sweet and bitter fruitage. If a man's mind hath evil thoughts, pain comes on him, as comes the wheel the ox behind. Man is a growth by law, and not a creation by artifice. And cause and effect is as absolute and undeviating in the hidden realm of thought as in the world of visible and material things. A noble and godlike character is not a thing of favor or chance, but is the natural result of continued effort in right thinking. Man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thoughts he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. Man ascends to the divine perfection. By the abuse and wrong application of thought, he descends below the level of the beast. Of all the beautiful truths pertaining to the soul which have been restored and brought to light in this age, is more gladdening or more fruitful of divine promise and confidence than this, that man is the master of thought, the molder of character, and the maker and shaper of condition, environment, and destiny. As a being of power, intelligence, and love, man holds the key to every situation. Only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained, and man can find every truth connected with his being, and that he is the maker of his character, the molder of his life, and the builder of his destiny, as a means of obtaining that knowledge of himself which is understanding, power, wisdom, ceaseless importunity, can a man enter the door of the temple of knowledge. Effect of thought on circumstances. If no useful seeds are put into it, then an abundance of useless weed seeds will fall therein. How the thought forces and mind elements operate in the shaping of his character, circumstances. The outer conditions of a person's life will always be found to be harmoniously related to his inner state. Every man is where he is by the law of his being. The thoughts which he has built into his character have brought him here. And as he learns the spiritual lesson which any circumstance contains for him, it passes away and gives place to other circumstances. It reaches the height of its cherished aspirations. It falls to the level of its unchastened desires. Seeds sown or allowed to fall into the mind and to take root there produces its own, blossoming sooner or later into act and bearing its own fruitage of opportunity and circumstance. Good thoughts bear good fruit. As the reaper of his own harvest, man learns both by suffering and bliss, following the inmost desires, aspirations, thoughts by which he allows himself to be dominated, steadfastly walking the highway of strong and high endeavor. Nor does a pure-minded man fall suddenly into crime by stress of any mere external force, and the hour of opportunity revealed its gathered power. Circumstance does not make the man, it reveals him to himself. No such conditions can exist as descending into vice and its attendant sufferings apart from vicious inclinations. Even at birth the soul comes to its own, and through every step of its earthly pilgrimage it attracts those combinations of conditions which reveal itself. Divinity that shapes our ends is in ourselves. Only himself manacles man. Thought and action are the jailers of fate. They imprison, being base. They are also the angels of freedom. They liberate, being noble. Not what he wishes and prays for does a man get, but what he justly earns. His wishes and prayers are only gratified in answer when they harmonize, being noble. In the light of this truth, what then is the meaning of fighting against circumstances? That a man is continually revolting against without, while all the time he is nourishing and preserving its cause in his heart. That cause may take the form and effect without, while all the time he is nourishing and preserving, it stubbornly retards the efforts of its possessor and thus calls aloud for remedy. The man who does not shrink from self-crucifixion can never fail to accomplish the object, and how much more so he who would realize a strong and well-poised life. Here is a man who is wretchedly poor. He is extremely anxious that his surroundings and home comforts, and considers he is justified in trying to deceive his employer on the ground of the insufficiency of his wages. Here is a rich man who is the victim of a painful and persistent disease, illustrative of the truth that man is the causer. He is continually frustrating its accomplishment by encouraging thoughts and desires which cannot possibly harmonize with that end. Trace the action of the laws of thought in his own mind and life, and until this is done, mere external facts cannot serve as a ground of reasoning. Thought is so deeply rooted that a man's entire soul condition cannot be judged, but the conclusion usually formed that the one man fails because of his particular honesty, his particular dishonesty, which assumes that the dishonest man is almost totally corrupt. It is pleasing to human vanity to believe that one suffers because of one's virtue. Can he be in a position to know and declare that his sufferings are the result of his good and not of his bad qualities, and which cannot therefore give good for evil, evil for good? Looking back upon his past ignorance and blindness, good thoughts and actions can never produce bad results. Bad thoughts and actions can never produce good results. Suffering is always the effect of wrong thought in some direction. Keep your hand firmly upon the helm of thought. In the bark of your soul reclines the commanding master. He does but sleep. Wake him. Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. Say unto your heart, peace. Be still.
Look at your life right now. Whatever you've done up to this point in time, your life is working. Whatever you have produced, it came out of you as a result of the kind of person that you have become. It's a result of your choices. It's a result of your consciousness. Now you have to ask yourself, are you satisfied with what you have produced? Or do you believe somewhere in the back of your mind or in your heart that there's some other great work for you to do? There's something else that life has for you. And that's why you're here. Start encouraging yourself. How do we increase our self-esteem? You have to begin to fortify yourself. So I'm saying learn to be your own booster. Start building yourself up. Start saying, I can do this. I can make this happen. When I started thinking about becoming a speaker, I said, yes, I can do this. I can make this happen. When I start trying to convince myself I can be a businessman after flopping and failing and losing thousands of dollars and feeling stupid and dumb and having people take advantage of me because of what I didn't know. Come on, man, get yourself together. It's all right. This is your training period. This is the tuition you have to pay for what you don't know. Get you some people that can teach you some stuff that you don't know. Get you some people that have done it successfully and learn from them. Take some seminars, workshops, read some books on how to manage a business. Change the way you see yourself and begin to tend to the personal details. Understand that nobody's going to take care of your business better than you. And when I start changing that kind of mindset of beating myself up because of my mistakes, and start looking at the possibility of my doing better, of my making the adjustment that would enable me to do what I want to do successfully, things begin to change. It's a natural inclination for us to put ourselves down. See, we are born negative, I think. Don't watch the news. So you've got to guard the kinds of things that you put in your mind. See, if you don't program your mind will be programmed, because human beings are goal-oriented. That's why we die of broken hearts early. That's why we're running through life to early graves. We're going through life, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that Henry David Thoreau said that most men live in quiet desperation. Most of us go through life running scared. So we created this in our minds, false evidence appearing real. We made it real in our minds. That's why Churchill said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Turn off things that can contribute to your fear. Turn a deaf ear to people that all they can do is talk about how negative things are because they have bought into the consciousness of the world. Attending workshops, seminars, listening to tapes on a daily basis to begin to recondition your mind, to retrain your thinking. Faith comes by what? Hearing and hearing and hearing. Listen to things that can empower you, that can enable you to create a new reality for yourself, in a new life for yourself. See, these people have not found their purpose in life. That's why they're grumpy. That's why they're miserable. That's why they're so negative. They're hurting and they want to hurt other people. and don't avoid where the fights are.